Hello dear students, welcome to the video. Welcome to second BTech first semester course Multivariable Calculus and Numerical Methods. Shortly it is known as MCNM. Mainly I am preparing this video for SRIT R19 autonomous batch. Okay. So here the multivariable calculus and numerical method. So it consists of 5 units. First unit is vector calculus, second unit is multivariable calculus, and third unit, fourth unit and fifth unit are related to numerical methods. So in today's class I wanted to explain some of the basic concepts of vector calculus. Okay, so let us discuss basics of vector calculus. Just I wanted to go with the basic definition like scalar. The scalar definition is a physical quantity which has magnitude only is called as a scalar. Example: speed, temperature, volume. If you consider temperature, so obviously we are measuring the temperature in terms of degrees or Fahrenheit, like 90 degrees temperature, right? So 100 degree Fahrenheit, like that. So here it is not having any direction, just it is a number. So it is a number means it comes under scalar. Similarly, if you take volume as an example, volume means usually we are measuring in terms of liters, right? So 2 liters, 3 liters, like that. So it indicates some number. Okay. Then let's see the vector definition. A physical quantity which has both magnitude and direction is called as vector. Example: velocity, force, gravity. So if you consider force, to move one object from one place to another place, you need to apply some external force. Okay, so suppose you wanted to move some object from point A to point B, so you need to apply the force in particular direction, then only the object can move from one place to another place. Okay, therefore here, so in which direction you are going to apply the force, so it plays a very important role. And here one more thing, the mass of the object is also comes into consideration. Okay, therefore here magnitude, mass is nothing but you are going to measure the magnitude as well as direction, in which direction you are going to apply the force. Therefore two things will come in existence, that is magnitude and direction. Therefore it is very good example for vector. Similarly, if you go with gravity, so gravity is one more very good example for vector, because whenever you are throwing some objects towards the sky, so definitely it will fall down on the ground. Okay, so why it is coming down? So due to the gravity, so gravitational force. Okay, so therefore a gravitational force is also acting towards downward direction, towards earth. Okay, therefore it is an example for a vector. Okay, next, the difference between scalar and vector. So I have given I listed few examples here, the scalar quantities and vector quantities. In case of scalar quantities have magnitude but no direction. Okay, examples are distance, speed, mass, density, energy, power, length, area, volume, time, temperature. So I can give several examples. Similarly, in case of vector quantities have magnitude and direction is the definition, right? And examples are displacement, velocity, weight, acceleration, force, impulse, pressure, momentum, gravity, etc. Okay, then vectors. So graphical representation is given here. So it's looking like arrow mark. Vector is looking like a arrow mark. So it is having two parts mainly. So the cap-like structure is known as head of the vector, and this backside area is known as tail of the vector. So vector consisting of two things, that is head of a vector and tail of a vector. And this head of a vector pointing towards which direction, means the head of a vector is helpful to find the direction. So in which direction it is showing. Okay, then vector has magnitude and direction, so it is shown here in the graphical form. So magnitude is nothing but the length of the vector, and the cap is showing the direction of the vector. Okay. Then applications of vector in real life where we are using these vector concepts. Let's see quickly. In real life example, we are using eigenvalues and eigenvectors to design car engines. So this is one of the major advantage of vectors. And when you are pull Fido's chain, so there exists two separate forces. Okay, one force is acting perpendicular, means one force is acting upward direction and one force is acting rightward direction. Due to these two forces, one new force is exerting. So it is you can look the new force exerted by the combination of these two forces on LHS side. Okay. Then a plane is flying along pointing north, but there is a wind coming from northwest. So the plane is moving towards north direction is one vector. You consider it as a one vector, and the wind is coming from northwest direction. So you consider it as a one more vector. So due to these two, so there exists a new vector, that is the propeller is moving towards east of the north due to these two external forces. And the suppose we are on ground, so we can able to see that the aeroplane is moving towards the east of the north due to the wind and the propeller direction. So this is one more example for one more real life example of vectors. Then comparing two vectors. Let's see here, there are three diagrams, example 1, 2, 3. So if you compare example 1, here vector A, so here you can see small a bar indicates this vector, b bar indicates this short vector. So if you compare the magnitude and direction, so direction of a bar and b bar are same, but what about magnitude? So magnitude is not equal, that is length of the vectors are not equal. Therefore you are writing a bar is not equals to b bar. So go to example 2. So example 2, if you observe vector A and vector B, magnitudes are same, that is length of the vector A and B are same, but the directions are different. Okay, so both the vectors are showing different directions. Therefore in case of example 2 also, vector A is not equals to vector B. So go to the last example. So if you see, both the vectors are pointing towards the same direction and having same magnitude, that is same length. Therefore in case of third example, we can conclude vector A and vector B have the same direction and same magnitude. So therefore we can write vector A is equals to vector B. Okay. Then here mainly what are the operators we are using in vectors? Okay, you remember mainly there are three operations we can use on vectors. First one is vector addition, second vector subtraction, and third multiplication of vectors. Okay, again in multiplication of vectors there are two ways. One is dot product of vectors and cross product of vectors. So let us see how to add two vectors. Okay, addition of vectors by triangle law. Let's see what triangle law tells. Concept of head and tail. So I already explained you. So head of the vector and tail of the vector clearly we can see from this. Then for example, I wanted to add here three vectors. Vector 1, 2, 3. So vector 1 is in red color, vector 2 is in pink color, then vector 3 is in blue color. I wanted to add 1, 2, 3, all the three vectors by using some law, triangle law. Okay. Then joining vectors for addition, head and tail. So here the formula triangle law is telling that we are adding head and tail. Okay. So head of one vector, so head of one vector we are joining with the tail of another vector. Okay, if you see, first we are writing first vector 1. Okay, it is represented by red color. So head of vector 1 we are attaching with tail of the second vector, that is pink color line. Okay, then similarly the head of vector 2 we are attaching with head of the vector 3. So therefore HT head we are attaching with the tail of second vector, again second vector head we are attaching with the third vector tail. So therefore it is also known as head and tail law. Okay, so this procedure is this procedure of adding the vector is known as triangle law. Okay, then here due to addition of these three vectors, so there is a resultant vector we can see here. So it is shown by the dark color line represented by capital R. Okay, due to addition of these three vectors, so it is forming a resultant vector. Okay, so resultant vector is which gives the result of all the vectors, that is addition of vectors. You can see we can write in the form capital R equals to vector 1 plus vector 2 plus vector 3. Okay, so how I will add these vectors tail and head. Okay, example 2, vector A and vector B. Vector A is presented by blue line, vector B is presented by pink line, that is pink vector. Okay, so find A plus B. So addition of A plus B. First you write vector A, that is blue color line. Okay, then head of A you attach with tail of vector B. Okay, so this is the vector. So addition of these two vectors results in capital R. Okay, so capital R is the resultant vector, so it is given by R equals to A plus B. Then sum of B plus A. So same vectors, let us add now B plus A. In previous slide we added A plus B, now we shall see B plus A. First you take vector B, so vector B, head of vector B you add with tail of vector A, then you write the resultant vector, that is R equals to B plus A. So here always you keep in mind A plus B is equals to B plus A, vector addition is commutative. See here, so this parallelogram shows the vector addition of A plus B as well as B plus A. So result of A plus B and B plus A, you can get the resultant vector. It is shown by the green line. Example were taken, capital P equals to 2i minus 7j, capital Q equals to 3i plus 4j. Usually we are representing vectors by suppose if you consider capital F equals to AI plus BJ plus CK. Here IJK represents the unit vectors. So that is, it is showing three-dimensional plane. I is representing x-axis, J is representing y-axis, K is representing z-axis. Okay. Here in this example we have taken only two-dimensional thing, that is P equals to 2i minus 7j, vector Q equals to 3i plus 4j. Find addition of P plus Q. So let's add P plus Q equals to, so vector P is 2i minus 7j plus vector Q is 3i plus 4j. Now here for addition, add ith component of first vector with ith component of second vector. Here in first vector ith component is 2i, in second vector ith component is 3i. So therefore 2i plus 3i gives 5i. Similarly jth component if you add, so in first vector jth component is minus 7j, in second component jth vector 4j, minus 7j plus 4j gives minus 3j. Therefore addition of P plus Q gives 5i minus 3j. I hope you understood vector addition. Now whatever we seen in previous slides, this is a triangle law of vector addition. Now let's see what is a parallelogram law of vector addition tells. This law was used by Aristotle to describe the combined action of two vectors or two forces. Remember, the rule for addition of vectors using parallelogram law is T and T rule. So if you remember triangle law, it tells that head and T rule, but here the parallelogram law tells that T and T rule. So tail of one vector we are adding with the tail of another vector. That is the rule. Okay. Then for example, you consider vector A by blue line, vector B by red color line. So I wanted to add these two lines with the help of parallelogram law. So first of all, you write vector A as it is, then add tail of vector A with the tail of vector B. So you can see here it is written T and T, therefore it is T and T rule. So result of these two vectors A and B, we are getting a new vector. Okay. So earlier a triangle law is forming a closed region. Okay, but here it's not like that. The resultant vector tail also we are attaching with the tails of the vectors A and B. Okay, so this is in case of parallelogram law. Next, vector addition is commutative. So let's verify with the example. Here vector A equals to 2i plus 5j, vector B equals to 7i minus 2j. Let's verify commutative law. We know the definition of commutative law is A plus B equals to B plus A. Let's verify here. Find A plus B. A plus B equals to first vector 2i plus 5j plus second vector 7i minus 2j. So here you add ith components. 2i plus 7i gives 9i. Similarly, jth components 5j minus 2j gives 3j. Therefore, A plus B gives the new vector 9i plus 3j. You take it as equation 1. You go for B plus A calculation. Vector B is 7i minus 2j plus vector A is 2i plus 5j. Add ith components, that is 7i plus 2i gives 9i minus 2i plus minus 2j plus 5j gives plus 3j. So this is vector addition B plus A. You take it as equation 2. Then here if you compare equation 1 and 2, let's see, 9i plus 3j is equation 1, 9i plus 3j. So same results you are getting in both the equations. Therefore we can write equation 1 equals to equation 2, that is A plus B equals to B plus A. Vector addition is satisfying commutative law. Let's go for vector subtraction. So here, before going to vector subtraction, we need to understand the definition of negative vector. Then here also we can apply triangle and parallelogram law for vector subtraction. Okay, and here you need to remember one more important thing: vector subtraction is not commutative. Okay, let's see why it is. Negative vector definition: a vector having same magnitude but opposite direction is known as negative vector. So just vector definition is a quantity which is having magnitude and direction is known as vector. So negative vector definition, so vector having same magnitude and opposite direction. You are using the word opposite direction. Usually opposite direction means we will take negative sign. Okay, so it is known as negative vector. Negative vector is also known as additive inverse. Okay. Then example, vector A is denoted by blue color. Okay, then here you can see modulus of A. So modulus, here modulus means magnitude. So to measure the magnitude we are using this symbol. Magnitude of vector A is 5 units. They are telling that length of the vector is 5 units. Okay, let's find negative of A. Okay, so negative of A means we are just turning the head of the given direction just with the opposite direction. You can see the given vector is showing RHS side direction. So we are just reversing the vector, therefore it is heading towards LHS direction. So here the minus sign indicates the opposite direction, exactly opposite to the given vector. Okay, and the vector is denoted by minus a. Okay, and here the minus a is also having 5 units, that is because magnitude will not change, only direction will change. So therefore magnitude remains same here, therefore the magnitude of minus a vector is also 5 units. And if you add a plus minus a, so you can get the result is 0. Then vector subtraction, let's see by the example. Vector A is denoted by red color, vector B is by blue color. Then A minus B. So A minus B, here if you observe carefully, minus B indicates it is a negative vector. So here B is given, you take the negative vector of B, so it is denoted by opposite direction, right? So you can see here minus B is the vector. Then you can subtract here. First you take vector A, okay, then you attach head of vector A with the tail of vector minus B. You can see head of vector A you are attaching with the tail of vector minus B. Okay, then the resultant vector shown by R. So R equals to A minus B. So you are directly not adding vector B. So instead of vector B you are using negative of vector B. Okay, that is the concept here. Similarly, if you consider this addition of same vectors by parallelogram law, so you can see parallelogram law tells that T and T rule. Triangle law says head and T rule, but parallelogram law says T and T rule. That is tail of one vector you are adding with the tail of another vector. So if you consider same example, let us take vector A, it is by red color. Okay, then tail of vector A you are attaching with the tail of negative vector B. Then the resultant vector as shown in the diagram by capital R. You just compare here. Always triangle law gives a closed region, it looks like a triangle, and here always R is showing towards somewhat open. Okay, so open diagram, that is open region you are getting in case of parallelogram law of addition or subtraction of vectors. Next example, vector P, vector Q, find Q minus P. So here, so they are given two vectors, vector P and vector Q. They are asking Q minus P. So Q is okay. Then you need to find negative of P. Okay, negative of P means you just use the opposite direction. See here, this is minus P vector. Then if you go with the triangle law, first we are writing vector Q, then head of vector Q you attach with the tail of vector minus P, then the resultant vector forming a triangle. Similarly, if you go with parallelogram law, first you write vector Q, then tail of the first vector you attach with tail of the second vector, that is minus P, then the resultant vector comes here, R. Okay, then why vector subtraction is not commutative? Vector addition is commutative, but why vector subtraction is not commutative? Let's see, let's verify this with the example. For example, A equals to 2i plus 3j, B equals to 5i minus 7j. Let's find A minus B here. So always the definition is same, remains same, that is commutative law means with respect to subtraction we can write A minus B equals to B minus B minus A. Let's verify with A minus B. A minus B means vector A is 2i plus 3j, vector B is minus 2i minus 3j. So here if you add ith components, so here one more thing, sorry, vector B is 5i minus 7j. So 5i means you are taking minus B, minus 5i plus 7j. So if you write 2i plus 3j minus 5i plus 7j, if you take ith components, 2i minus 5i gives minus 3i. Similarly 3i plus 3j plus 7j gives plus 10j. Therefore, a minus b gives, if you take minus sign outside, 3i minus 10j is a minus b. Let's take b minus a. Vector b is 5i minus 7j minus of vector a is 2i minus 3j. So ith component is 5i minus 2i gives 3i minus 7j minus 3j gives minus 10j. Therefore, b minus a is 3i minus 10j. If you compare a minus b and b minus a minus b consists negative of 3i minus 10j. b minus a is just plus of 3i minus 10j. Here we can write clearly a minus b is not equals to b minus a. Therefore, the vector subtraction is not satisfying commutative law with respect to subtraction. Now let us move to the concept of vector multiplication in next video. Okay, please keep watching the videos.